Yo, 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 what is happening, everybody? Dirty D's out here kicking it. Hey, I am super psyched. I'm heading up to Sturgis, South Dakota. Have you ever wondered what kind of planning goes into doing a trip like that? I mean, I'm going 2,000 miles up, 2,000 miles down. Gonna spend a couple nights on the road. Gonna be hanging out with a bunch of people up there at Sturgis. In fact, a few YouTubers that you know. We're gonna be sharing a house. We got the Airbnb, and then it's gonna be a few more days coming on back. I'm not gonna rush going up there. I mean, for me, this is a vacation, right? But a lot of planning and preparation goes into putting together something like this. So I'm gonna do a series of 3 videos. This video is gonna be on the bike itself. The next video is going to be on the gear you wanna take with you. I'm not talking about safety gear. I'm talking about actual gear, pieces of equipment that you need to have with you on your bike on a trip like this. And then the third video I'm gonna do is gonna be about the safety gear. All right, you guys ready? We're just gonna jump right into it. Let's talk about the bike. I've been working on this bike, and when I say working on it, I mean putting together the plan and then paying somebody else to get it done, okay? Because in your lifetime, you're gonna go through a few different phases. In the first phase, you have more time than money. In the second phase, you have more money than time. And in the third phase, you really don't know what the hell you're doing, and you probably forgot a lot of stuff. I'm kind of in between those last two. So I paid for a lot of this stuff to get done. You could probably do it a lot cheaper, but let me tell you what we got done. All right, so you've heard of T-clocks, right? So this is kind of the system that you use to inspect your bike before you go on any ride, or you're supposed to. Well, when you're going on one of these long trips, which is TIBO, so it's tires, electrics, brakes and belts, and oils. I got a tiny little story about each one of these elements just to kind of keep it interesting, and maybe it'll help you remember it. All right, so for tires, I just got the tires replaced. Got both of them done. How do you know when you need tires? All right, well, there's a wear bar, and if that wear bar is even with the tread of your tire, you know it's time to replace that thing. So that's one. The next thing is, there's going to be a little bit of a film on that tire when you get it. And depending on the tire, I'm sure there are a lot of different causes. One is that there are oils inside the tire that eventually get released with heat. So you want to heat up your bike. You basically want to heat up the tire. 100 miles of fair driving. You're not going to be going crazy in the twisties because it's got that little bit of film on it, right? That sheen. That's called scrubbing in your tires. It's important to do that if your next ride, the one that you're preparing for, you're gonna have a lot of twisties. You definitely wanna scrub in your tires. But for me, I mean, heck, this is going to be a long trip. I mean, in day 1, I plan on doing 10 hours. Day 2 is 5 hours, day 3 is another 5. Possibly, we're gonna see. But anyhow, I don't really need to scrub in my tires as much. A lot of it's highway riding, so I'm not doing a whole lot of twisties, so it's not as important for me to scrub in the tires. Here's what I'm getting at. If you're preparing for a ride, get your tires done early so that you have time to break them in. All right, let's go to the next. Electrics. So for electrics, really, you can have your guys in the shop take a look at it while you're having your tires taken care of. If they know who you are, they've seen you in there before, just say, hey man, would you mind taking a look under the seat? Take a look at the electrics for a sec. Just let me know if you spot anything crazy. They usually won't charge you for that. It's just a simple little inspection. My guys down at the dealership checked it out. They said everything was cool. However, what I'm also taking with me, just to make sure on those electrics, is a small box of fuses. I'm going to tell you why in the next video. But let's continue to move forward. The next two are the belts and the brakes. Here's how you know when your brakes are going bad. You've probably all been here. When you come to a red light or a stop sign and you hear that little bit of a squeak, the first time you hear that squeak, you look to the car next to you and you think he's got bad brakes. The second time you hear that squeak, you think it's a coincidence, like maybe everybody in the city has bad brakes. But the third time you hear that squeak, man, it's you. Okay, so don't be in denial. Be smart about it. When you start hearing that squeaky brake, take it in, because it's much less expensive to replace brake pads than it is to replace the brake itself. Just like with anything else mechanical. If you don't take care of it when it's a small problem, it's gonna cost a ton when it becomes a big problem. So the next B is your belt or your chain. Mine has a belt drive. Let me first tell you a story on how you know your belt is bad. So I'm riding the bike, right? I stop at a red light, I take off, and it takes a long time. It felt like it was dragging, and then boom, it would catch the gear and take off. Well, eventually, not only did it catch a gear and take off, but as I was riding it, it felt like it was shifting itself, right? So here's what happened. That belt has teeth, right? So imagine it's like that, okay? And when one of those teeth get ground down, now you have a gap. So you've got a belt, or you've got a tooth, and then a gap. So you got a gap tooth, you're gonna start slipping and sliding, dipping and diving, baby, don't do it. So finally that brings us to O for oils. Now when I talk about oils, I'm talking about all the fluids, not just the motor oil. So the motor oil, yes. Change the primary oil, absolutely. Yeah, we're talking about brake fluids and things like this. So check all your fluids, all right? So that's all the preparation that I've done. Now I will tell you the prices as well. Rear tire replacement, front tire replacement, and the primary service. The next work order that I have here, we got the gasket clutch, the gasket kit inner primary, the belt drive, the brake pad kit. What else did we have here? Some kind of seal. If you're gonna do a multi-day trip, you're going thousands of miles. You're gonna spend $1,000 to $2,000. Plan it out, be ready to spend the money, or be ready to spend the time doing it yourself. But remember, TIBO, tires, electrics, belts and brakes, and the oils. These 5 things could take you all around the world. So it darn sure is gonna get me from San Antonio, Texas up to Sturgis, South Dakota. Stay tuned, my friends. We've got more videos coming up. Like I say, the next one is gonna be about all those things that you wanna take with you. I'm challenging myself. Only what will fit in this box is coming with me. So stay tuned for that challenge, and we'll see you on the next. Have a great week, everybody.